Picture this. You are walking down a really busy city street, right? You're dodging pedestrians, maybe you're grabbing a coffee, and you are just completely surrounded by words.
Oh, everywhere. Yeah.
Right, like stop signs, massive billboards, the little menus in the window of a cafe. You read the words, your brain just kind of processes the message and you move on. But if you start paying really close attention to like the margins of that world, you might notice something else entirely.
Numbers.
Exactly, numbers. And I don't mean, street addresses or phone numbers. There is this one specific, mysterious three-digit code that pops up in the absolute most unexpected places.
Yeah, you'll see it tucked away on car bumpers or printed very delicately at the top of these really ornate wedding invitations. I mean, you might even see it engraved on a pendant worn around someone's neck.
786. 786. So today we are doing a deep dive into the frankly bizarre journey of how a really profound ancient Arabic phrase, one that is used by millions of people every single day, somehow morphed into that specific three-digit code.
It is quite the journey, yeah.
It really is. Our mission for this deep dive is to, uncover the true linguistic depth of the original phrase, untangle the incredibly flawed math behind the mystery number, and really figure out why human beings just have this intense, almost gravitational pull towards secret numerical codes.
Well, and our sources for this deep dive cover a really wide spectrum. We are looking at deep linguistic and theological analyses of ancient Arabic, all the way over to mathematical breakdowns of numerology.
Right, so we are covering all the bases.
Yeah, but to really grasp why replacing a phrase with the number 786 is so strange, we really have to establish the immense, just massive emotional and linguistic weight of the actual words being replaced.
Okay, so what is the phrase?
The full phrase is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Okay, and if you look up a standard English translation of that phrase, you usually get something along the lines of, well, it usually says, in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful.
Right, which is the standard textbook translation.
Yeah, but honestly, that translation has always felt incredibly stiff to me. Like, let's look at the word beneficent. Nobody uses that in everyday English.
No, not at all.
Like, you don't walk up to a coworker who, I don't know, brought in donuts for the office and say, wow, Jim, you are being incredibly beneficent this morning.
Yeah, that would definitely get you some weird looks in the break room.
Exactly. It just creates this massive emotional distance between the speaker and the actual meaning.
It does. It sounds like a legal document, right?
Right.
Rather than a spiritual invocation.
Yeah.
And the translation of merciful carries a very similar kind of baggage.
How so?
Well, in English, the concept of mercy is almost entirely transactional. It generally implies being spared from punishments that you probably deserve.
Right, right. Like a convicted criminal begging a king for mercy.
Right.
Or a student pleading with a professor not to fail them at the end of the semester.
Exactly. Even when you think about something like a mercy hospital, that carries a specific connotation. It is a place you go to have your acute suffering taken away.
It's a reaction to a bad thing happening.
Yes, it's a reaction to a negative event. But the linguistic roots of the Arabic words Rahman and Rahim, they operate on a completely different paradigm. They don't come from a courtroom or a transactional pardon.
Okay, so where do they come from?
The root word for both of them is Ram, and Ram translates literally to the mother's womb.
Wow, wait, literally a womb.
Literally a womb.
That completely reframes the entire concept of the divine. I mean, you are moving from like a king sitting on a distant throne to the very messy biological reality of a mother and her unborn child.
Right, and to really understand these divine names, you have to look closely at that specific maternal relationship. Think about, every adult human relationship you have.
Okay.
They are all, on some level, conditional. People will vow to love you no matter what, but if you continuously lie to them or steal from them or disrespect them, that love is eventually going to wither away.
Yeah, there is a limit. Adult relationships are a two-way street. Both parties have to, bring something to the table.
Exactly. But the baby in the womb breaks every single rule of that social contract.
Oh, for sure. That baby pays absolutely no rent. It doesn't chip in for the grocery bill. It provides zero tangible benefit to the mother during those 9 months.
From a purely biological standpoint, it is a wildly demanding presence. It causes the mother immense physical distress.
Right, like the morning sickness, the chronic backaches.
The inability to sleep or eat normally, it's rough. Yet, despite all of that, the mother will instinctively guard her stomach when walking past the sharp corner of a table, right? She is fiercely protecting a child that has absolutely no idea is being protected.
That is such a wild concept. To that baby, the womb isn't just a location. It is the entire universe. It provides literally everything it needs without the baby ever having to even ask.
And the culmination of that process is the birth itself. A baby effectively tears a mother's body apart to come into the world. It causes agonizing, genuinely life-threatening pain.
Yeah, I mean, if any other human being caused you that level of physical trauma, you would call the police and have them arrested?
You absolutely would. But the mother's immediate response right after enduring that excruciating trauma is to pull the child to her chest, feed it, and protect it.
Oh.
That is the baseline definition of unconditional love and protection that the word Ram evokes.
Okay, so the phrase uses two different words that come from that womb root, right? Araman and Arahim.
Yes. And in Arabic linguistics, when you have two similar words used side by side like that, they cannot mean the exact same thing. They are providing different dimensions of that root concept.
Okay, break that down for me.
So Araman ends in an on sound. And in that language, that implies a state that is extreme and overwhelming. It is happening right now, but it is inherently conditional or temporary.
Like what? Like a feeling.
Yeah, think of an English word like angry or thirsty. It's intense. It takes over your whole body, but it eventually subsides. So Araman is this overwhelming, immediate flood of rescue and care.
Okay, I actually found a really great way to visualize this distinction in the sources. So imagine you get paid every 2 weeks. It's Friday afternoon, your bank account is sitting at exactly zero, and you desperately need your paycheck in the next 10 minutes so you can buy a train ticket to get home.
A very stressful situation.
Extremely. And then your coworker leans over and says, "Hey, don't worry, our boss is a very reliable person."
That does not help you in that moment.
Exactly. That general trait of reliability does not help you catch your train. You need that paycheck right now. You need the boss to step in and be the immediate extreme rescue. That is Rahman. It is the crisis intervention.
That's a great analogy. And because Rahman is associated with an immediate extreme situation, it isn't a permanent state. You don't stay in a state of crisis forever.
Right. Hopefully not.
Right. So that brings in the second word, Ar-Rahim. Rahim denotes a permanent, continuous, always loving reality.
Okay.
It might not be the explosive, immediate rescue of a crisis, but it is the deep, unwavering bedrock of protection. To use your analogy, it is the comforting knowledge that you have a reliable boss who will always make sure you are employed and taken care of year after year.
So the full phrase basically covers your immediate crisis, and it guarantees your eternal future, all anchored in this fierce, unconditional love of a mother.
Exactly. It's a massive theological concept.
It really is. But we have to address the obvious friction here.
Oh, pushback, yeah.
Yeah, because if this phrase, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, invokes such an extreme, permanent, and guaranteed protection, why is there so much suffering in the world?
It's the ultimate human question.
I mean, a student can say this profound phrase before a final exam and still fail out of school completely. Or on a much more serious level, someone can recite it daily and still receive a really devastating medical diagnosis. From our human perspective, the protection seems to just fail all the time.
Right, and theology actually addresses that exact human frustration by redefining the timeline of protection.
What do you mean?
Well, divine love and protection operate on their own terms, not on the immediate comfort levels of human beings. The sources use the life of the prophet Yusuf, or Joseph in English, as the perfect illustration of this dynamic.
Oh, his trajectory is just brutal.
It really is.
He starts as this favored son, but his own brothers resent him so deeply that they basically kidnap him, throw him into a dark well, and just leave him to die.
And then he gets pulled out only to be trafficked. He's sold into child slavery in a completely foreign country.
Right. And he serves in his master's house with, like, complete honesty and integrity.
But his reward for that integrity is being falsely accused of a horrific crime by the master's wife. So he is stripped of his dignity and thrown into a dungeon for years.
Yeah, if you look at his life in isolation during that prison sentence, you would absolutely conclude that the universe has completely abandoned him. He is experiencing layered, compounded trauma.
From the perspective of that prison cell, the concept of a protective, loving force seems like a cruel joke.
Oh, completely.
But you have to zoom out and look at the larger architecture of those events. Because he was wrongfully imprisoned in that specific dungeon at that exact specific time, he crossed paths with the king's staff.
Right, the cupbearer and the baker.
Exactly. And because of that connection, he was eventually brought before the king to interpret a disturbing dream about a coming 7-year famine.
And his interpretation of that dream allowed the nation to stockpile grain, which ultimately saved thousands upon thousands of families and children from literally starving to death.
The causality is undeniable there.
It really is. If he isn't betrayed by his brothers, he isn't sold into slavery. If he isn't a slave, he isn't framed. If he isn't framed, he never goes to that specific prison.
And if he never goes to prison, he never meets the king. The famine hits while they are completely unprepared, and a massive portion of the population dies.
So the extreme, agonizing suffering he endured was the precise, necessary mechanism to put him in the exact position to save an entire generation.
The protection and the care were operating the entire time, but the scope was just so much larger and more complex than his immediate physical comfort. The phrase encompasses a universe-spanning definition of care.
Wow. Okay, which brings us to the most jarring part of this whole phenomenon. We have this rich, intensely complex idea of unconditional love, biological sacrifice, and universe-spanning protection.
Yeah.
And somehow a huge portion of the population decided to just squash all of that profound meaning into the number 786.
It is quite the pivot.
It's baffling. How does a linguistic masterpiece become a barcode?
Well, the answer lies in a pre-Islamic system called the Abjad numerals. This dates back to what historians often refer to as the era of ignorance in ancient Arab societies.
Okay, so way back.
Way back. Long before the widespread use of the modern Hindu-Arabic numerals that we use today, they had a system where they assigned a specific numerical value to every single letter of the alphabet.
Like a secret code.
Exactly. Aleph was 1, Ba was 2, Jim was 3, and so on.
So it's a foundational form of numerology. They essentially created a cipher for the entire language.
Right. And if you take the full Arabic phrase Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and you map out every single consonant according to this Abjad system, you get a long string of numbers. Add all those numbers together, and the grand total is exactly 786.
It's just a mathematical sum of the letters. That's so strange.
People did this with names, too. The numerical value of the Prophet Muhammad's name, for instance, adds up to 92.
But wait, historically, adding up the values of letters wasn't just like a quirky math exercise kids did in school.
No, not at all. It was the engine for a practice called fall, which is essentially divination or fortune-telling. A person would take the letters of their own name, calculate their total numerical value, and use that specific number to draw lots or try to predict their future wealth and success.
But Islamic law explicitly rejects fortune-telling and divination as haram. Right, like strictly forbidden. You aren't supposed to be rolling the dice with the alphabet to predict the future.
You're definitely not.
Yeah.
But despite the prohibition on divination itself, the habit of calculating the numerical weight of Hurley phrases somehow survived.
How does that even happen?
It basically morphed from fortune-telling into a very misguided form of reverence. Today, you see 786 used by people who genuinely just want to convey respect.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if they're printing a wedding invitation or setting up a business ledger or making a flyer, they want to start it with a blessing.
Naturally.
But they have this fear that if they print the actual Holy Arabic script, that piece of paper might eventually, be dropped on the floor or stepped on or thrown into a garbage can. And that feels deeply disrespectful to them.
Right.
So to bypass that risk entirely, they just print 76.
I actually understand the instinct there. Like, in a really busy modern world, a shortcut seems entirely practical. We communicate in zip files all the time.
What do you mean by zip files?
Well, if I text you ASA or BRB, you don't need me to type out as soon as possible or be right back. You instantly decode the acronym.
Yeah, that's true.
So if the intention is to invoke the blessing and the receiver knows what the numbers stand for, why shouldn't they use 786? It gets the exact same point across without risking any disrespect to the written word.
It sounds logical until you pull it apart. The zip file analogy actually highlights the exact fatal flaw of this whole practice.
So.
A zip file on your computer is only functional because it uniquely opens to one specific, unalterable set of data.
Right.
If you double-click a compressed folder on your desktop, and instead of your tax returns, it randomly generates 100 completely contradictory documents, that shortcut is worse than useless. It is chaotic.
Oh, yeah. That would be a nightmare.
Exactly. And when you apply that logic to language, reducing words to numbers completely destroys your ability to communicate clearly.
The mathematical breakdown of this in the sources is honestly hilarious. It completely dismantles the practice. Let's actually do a simple logical proof using the English alphabet.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's assign some completely arbitrary numerical values to a few letters. We will make B equal 1, A equal 7, and D equal 4.
Okay, so if you spell the word B-A-D, B-A-D, you add those values together. 1 plus 7 plus 4 equals 12.
Great. So the word VAD equals 12. Now let's assign values to a few more letters. We will make G equal 2, O equal 3, and D remains 4.
If you spell the word good, G-O-O-D, you add 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. That also equals exactly 12.
Exactly. So if I slide a piece of paper across the table to you, and all it says is the number 12, what am I communicating? Am I saying good, or am I saying BD?
You have no way of knowing.
Right. The number 12 simultaneously means two complete opposites. It completely ceases to be language. And this exact mathematical collision happens with 786.
Yes, it does. In the Abjad system, the sum of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is 786. But 786 is also the exact numerical value of the Hindu chant, Hare Krishna Haram.
So writing 786 on a document is simultaneously invoking a core Islamic phrase and a core Hindu chant.
It is. In fact, 786 is actually a recognized symbol in certain South Asian traditions because of this exact mathematical overlap. The number doesn't hold any loyalty to the original words. Furthermore, there is a massive decoding problem. If you stumble across the number 786 centuries from now, how do you even unpack it? Did the author intend for you to group it as 78 and 6? Or maybe 86 and 7?
Without the original cipher in the cultural context, you literally just have a random string of digits.
It's meaningless.
Oh man, there is this fantastic anecdote in the source material about a college student who used to troll his classmates over this exact issue.
Oh, the calculator story.
Yes. So he would see these kids walking around campus with their notebooks, and they had 78692 written really prominently on the cover. They intended it to mean Bismillah over the name of the prophet.
A mathematical fraction representing a spiritual hierarchy.
Which is already funny, but he would casually walk up to them, pull a calculator out of his backpack, physically divide 786 by 92, and write the resulting decimal answer next to their fraction.
That is just brilliant.
He would smile and say, "Hey, I noticed you left your math homework unfinished, so I just solved the division problem for you."
And they would get so mad.
Oh, absolutely furious. They'd start yelling, "It's not a math problem, it's a prayer."
Which inadvertently exposes an incredibly absurd scenario. If writing or saying 786 legitimately counts as reciting the prayer, then the entire structure of religious worship essentially collapses into a literal math equation.
Oh, you can extrapolate that logic all the way out and turn a spiritual connection into a barcode scanner at a grocery store.
Let's map it out.
Okay, so Bismillah is 786. Let's say the opening chapter of the Quran, Surah Fatiha, adds up to 2586. Surah Ikhlas, which is a short foundational chapter about the oneness of God, equals 1,000.
Right, and the phrase Allahu Akbar calculates out to 74. And let's say the physical act of bowing down in prostration is 21.
You are literally quantifying the unquantifiable.
Exactly.
So using this logic, you could walk into a mosque to do the Tarawih, the lengthy late-night prayers during Ramadan that usually take well over an hour, and you could finish the entire thing in 2 minutes.
You'd just have a room full of people standing there rapidly shouting out phone numbers. 786, 2586, 74, 21.
You wouldn't need religious scholars to memorize the Quran. You would just need an accountant. Reading the longest chapter of the Quran, Surah Baqarah, wouldn't be this profound exploration of law, morality, and history. It would be a random, massive string of millions of meaningless digits just read off a spreadsheet.
It perfectly highlights how stripping the language literally strips the soul right out of the practice.
It really does. But here's where I get stuck. The logic clearly doesn't hold up mathematically, right? The religious texts completely ignore the Abjad system entirely. Scholars openly mock the practice of turning prayers into fractions, and yet, you still see 786 everywhere.
Everywhere.
It hasn't died out at all. Why?
Well, the persistence of 786 isn't really a matter of religious devotion at all. It's a testament to human psychology. Human beings deeply, fundamentally crave secret codes. We are obsessed with hidden knowledge.
It's like a global phenomenon, isn't it? It transcends any single culture or religion.
Oh, absolutely. Look at how Western culture treats the number 13.
Oh, right.
Multi-million-dollar skyscrapers are constructed, and the architects will purposefully skip labeling the 13th floor on the elevator panel because of a lingering ancient superstition that the number itself is somehow unlucky.
And the number 666 is universally recognized as representing the devil in Christian numerology.
Even the Baha'i faith centers a massive 21-day fasting period around the spiritual significance they place specifically on the number 21.
We just latch onto numbers because they feel definitive, but also mystical at the same time.
Exactly. We adopt the numerical shortcut, and over time we completely forget what the shortcut was actually supposed to represent in the first place.
There is a brilliant story about the number 420 from the sources that perfectly illustrates how blindly we follow these cultural codes.
The Indian Penal Code story.
Yes. So in India, if someone is known to be a fraud, a cheat, or a con artist, people will casually refer to them as a 420. You'll hear people say, oh, don't do business with that guy. He's a total 420.
And in India, there is a completely logical, structural reason for that phrase.
Exactly. Section 420 of the Indian Penal Code is the specific law that deals with offenses related to cheating and dishonesty.
It is a direct reference to a legal statute.
But the absurdity happens with immigration. South Asian immigrants will move to the United States or the United Kingdom. They will get mugged by a local American or British robber, and they will still call that criminal a 420.
Which makes no sense contextually.
None. The penal codes in the US and the UK are completely different. Section 420 in a British law book might be about, like, agricultural zoning or nothing at all.
Right.
They are using the numerical shortcut completely divorced from the reality of their environment. They just know the number 420 means a bad guy, and they never bother to ask why.
And that exact psychological blind spot is what happens when people approach spiritual texts with a calculator in their hand.
Oh, totally.
People desperately scour books like the Quran, looking for numeric miracles to somehow validate their faith. You will hear claims circulating online saying things like, look, the word day appears exactly 365 times in the Quran. It's a miracle of the calendar.
I've seen those posts.
Many people have. But linguists and scholars who actually track these claims routinely point out that the counting methods used to reach those neat, tidy numbers are highly manipulated.
Really?
Yeah, you essentially have to ignore certain prefixes, pluralities, and basic grammatical rules to force the math to work out to exactly 365.
You are basically taking a book designed to provide complex spiritual guidance and trying to force it to be an encyclopedia of mathematics and geology.
Psychologists and theologians both recognize this as a trick of the human ego. There is a deep, powerful seduction in feeling like you hold the torch of a rare, unique secret.
Oh, that makes so much sense. We want a magical cipher that makes us feel special, enlightened, and part of this exclusive club.
Because memorizing a 3-digit number or sharing a post about the word day appearing 365 times requires almost zero effort.
Right?
But sitting down, doing the grueling work of intellectual study, and confronting the difficult, ugly realities of your own character.
That's the hard stuff.
It is embodying the unconditional womb-like care of a mother in how you actually treat your neighbors every single day. That is incredibly hard work. The number is just an escape hatch from the responsibility of the words.
That is profound, and it really brings this entire journey full circle. We started today looking at the incredibly beautiful, genuinely agonizing reality of a mother's womb, Rum.
The blood, the sacrifice, the physical toll.
The extreme, permanent, and immediate care that a mother provides to a child that is completely blind to her existence. We uncovered an entire universe of meaning, emotion, and divine protection layered into those ancient Arabic words.
A very profound truth about the real nature of unconditional love.
And we saw how human beings, in our endless desire for convenience, shortcuts, and the illusion of secret knowledge, managed to squish all of that warmth, all of that depth into 3 cold, empty digits. 7, 8, 6.
We take the shortcut to save time, and in the process, we completely obliterate the very meaning we were trying to preserve in the first place.
The shortcut inevitably becomes a dead end.
It always does.
So, to you listening right now, consider how this phenomenon plays out outside of ancient numerology. We've seen how taking a numerical shortcut strips away a profound spiritual truth. In an era of constant information overload, where we summarize absolutely everything into quick bullet points, acronyms, and emojis, what deep, complex truths in your own life have you accidentally reduced to a meaningless symbol?